Hey now, cats, we're back again. And if this is your first time, or if you're a fan of ours and you've actually seen our shows before, we are the Movie Snobs. I am Balls from Ellwood. This is my ride or die, my homie, Mr. Matt Wheels Onesti. And in this little program, we actually called an experiment because I like, you know, questionable taste in cinema. Mr. Matt Wheels Onesti likes a more sophisticated palate. And he makes me watch something of his. I make him watch something of mine, and occasionally we end up liking each other's shit and we learn and grow and prosper. But so in this episode, we pit actually this is our Halloween episode, so it should be spooky.
Happy Halloween, ghosts flying around. Boo.
And I have to say, the two movies that we picked this week, and oddly enough, I always feel like we inadvertently do this and it's never planned. But we have two different films. We have the Michael Dougherty classic anthology Trick or Treat, which I gave Mr. Wheels. And Wheels, what did you give me?
And I gave you the 1969 Czech New Wave movie by Uraz Hers, The Cremator, a political horror film, if you will.
I want me to preface this before we get into this film. We'll do that first, but I wanted to tell you thank you because whenever we're doing a Halloween episode, I felt like both of these should be scary, and I wasn't quite sure when you gave me this how it was going to work out and how it was going to fit in. But thank you for teaching me that a film doesn't necessarily have to be visceral to be frightening. And I'll be honest with you, this I will actually watch this early today because, like, I was, normally I watch these in advance, but I actually have this fresh in my mind, and it's still unnerving to me. And it's still very deeply under my skin. And real honestly, ex Tina got caught up in watching. I feel like it's gonna live rent free in my head for a very long time. And I mean, now I fully understand why you picked this, the parallels that why but the parallels between what is going on with that and what's going on today, and just how goddamn scary it truly is. There's no fright film or gore movie or any sort of horror film that could even probably hold a candle to this film. So I'll let you take it away, Wheels. I have a lot to
Just
say too.
just from you, yeah, because I need to hear your full picture on this. This sounds like an incredibly positive review already. But essentially the Cremator is it's a political horror film, which yeah, you would think would be incredibly hard to pull off, but it's sort of this how this infection of Nazism can start and what it does to the human mind and the type of person that is susceptible to this. And a lot of the times it's a person who's um incredibly reliant on like these concepts of tradition, like you can't break tradition for any reason. And they feel that life only works through the lens of their own sort of self-fulfillment or finding their own pleasures without sort of concern for anyone else. So balls, take this away. Give me your full scope on this. What did this movie do for you?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it scared the shit out of me. And like, I think, in ways that I didn't even think I was able to be disturbed because I mean, real honestly, like I said, man, if I had just seen this maybe 15 years ago, it probably still would have probably disturbed me a little bit. But
Oh, because the editing is so weird. Like the way that the movie's edited and like
I'll be honest with you, man. There's a lot of I'll be honest with you, dude. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really well. And I mean, it's funny because I even was saying to XT at the time, like, I can't believe him. It always, whenever I see films like this, it always still gives me like this joy inside that like I could see something from this time period that is still every bit as important, every bit as revolutionary, and every bit as visually aesthetic and pleasing to me as anything made right now. And every bit is fucking scary, man. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I didn't think I thought it was a really odd choice to give me for a Halloween episode. And at the very end, when the credits rolled, I'm like, motherfucker, he knew exactly what he was doing, and boy did he knew how to get to me, and like it did fucking disturb me and scare me just in a different way.
yeah, I
And,
mean
and
when
I
like the
should thank
movie
you for that because I love being scared. just not, when it reflects society now so much.
Which is it's horrifying. I think you even mentioned that, like, it's scary on a whole bunch of different levels.
it did.
It's scary because you're looking around and you're like, "Holy fuck, there's a where the fuck did all these Nazis come from?" But then it's like you look at the cremator and, like, who that like, how he's presented as a man, and it's like the movie starts and you're like, "Is this guy a hero?" And you hear him saying sorta like these weird things about like, "Oh, I only eat Czech food," or "We have Czech blood in us," and you think, "Okay, well, he just really likes the country that he's in, and he just, he's not." But then you see how quickly it's, "Oh, well, you have 1 drop of German blood in you, so that makes you better, but your wife, she's got 25% Jew in her, and you're gonna have to take care of that because if you don't, I mean, how are you ever gonna be the head cremator? How are you ever gonna be allowed to be a part of this secret cremation program that the Reich wants your help with?" So you're not gonna, your son's not gonna be allowed to go to the private schools because, he has just a drop of Jewish blood in him, so you need to take care of those kids. Like, and you see how it like, you see where it starts and how it's susceptible, but then think like, how creepy was that character? Like, how uncomfortable did he make you even from the very beginning?
It's funny you say that because from the very beginning, he's kind of a creep and he's kind of unnerving. But then you watch, and I'm always a sucker for this, and this is actually a really expert class of this, like where they take a character that's already kind of questionable in morality, and then they plant that seed, and throughout you could see the growth and expansion and banality of fucking pure evil, and it just kind of you can see the roots through the whole movie where he just kind of grows into this fucking terrorist.
He was lying. I mean, he was lying the whole movie, right?
Yeah,
Like, on this whole, like, oh, like what he's saying to his son, oh, you need to have honor, integrity, and
it's
all
all
this.
for lip service.
But
But
not
that's
bullshit because, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go see the doctor upstairs, and he's gonna take my blood because I'm worried about maybe getting something off the dead body." No, he's slamming whores at the fucking whorehouse.
well, that's the funniest part about it. He's like, "I'm a family man," and blah blah blah. And the next fucking scene, he's slamming whores at the whorehouse, and I'm like, "Oh, so he's a hypocrite like most everybody today." So,
Yeah, and, like, okay, so that movie has one of my favorite, like, unnerving ticks that a character, like, that an actor
comb.
could ever portray.
Don't even say the
Um,
comb because that's what gets to me. Where he's
yeah,
fucking combing his hair, and he's combing someone else's hair, and he comes up and
yeah. Every like, and it's so subtle, like, he'll go and he'll just go, and then, like, the dead body will be there, and he'll just comb the dead body's hair, and then, like, you're like, "Okay, that's weird," and then the next scene, they do it in reverse where it's like, he combs the dead body's hair and
dude, that creeped me out too. Like I'm like, ugh. Like through the whole thing, I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, if I ever do another horror movie, I'm stealing that shit because that's just unnerving as shit.
So one of the things that I think you got me hooked on when you started to get me into horror. And it's funny because this is a movie that I love, love, love before you started getting me. Like, before you converted me into the psychopath who was just sort of, like, really into all of this stuff now. That's a movie that I had in my arsenal from before, but it's funny, like, now that you're showing me sort of the history of this and, like, I'm learning different tropes or I'm learning, like, sorta how this can be used in a political sense or to say like, I have such a deeper appreciation for the cremator now that I genuinely didn't have before. Like, I only had it on one level, but then sort of this, like, what it means to create unnerving energy or uneasy energy, and then how that relates to the human psyche, and then what that could be saying further beyond society. The first time that I saw this movie, because I genuinely wanted to watch. I made it a point. Sometimes I don't watch the movie again when I give them to you.
How did you
But
discover this film? Before I forget.
I discovered this movie through my obsession with the Czech New Wave films. Um, Early on in the pandemic, sort of, kind of bored. Criterion puts up Czech New Wave shit, and I was like, "That's interesting." I liked French New Wave. I don't know about the like Czechoslovakia. Let's watch that. Well, then I started watching the shit Fireman's Ball, The Joke, Burning Lights. I think I'm remembering that name right. And then the Cremator blew my fucking dick out of my asshole. But it's like I discovered those because like I just clicked on them and then it was like, holy shit, these are really political movies. Like Fireman's Ball, I was like, this is the greatest political movie ever made that is telling a macro story on a micro level. And then, like, before I know it, I'm watching movies like Daisies, and it's like a surrealist dream about these two like girls in a society that's falling apart and them being like these ultimate actors of destruction within it. And then I watch a movie like The Cremator, which like that's where I was like, okay, movies can just you can create something out of thin air with absolutely no money, with just a camera and something to say. And I see a movie like that and it's like you can change the world with something like this. And I think the political side of it's what connected me. And the reason I kind of brought all that up is like when I first saw The Cremator without sort of this background and watching other horror movies or really like exploring sort of this like why we wanna feel uneasy, like, why what Todd Browning was doing, because again, that's a guy who's making movies before a movie like The Cremator's made, and I don't explore him until I start talking with you, and it's like knowing why you need to do that within the movie, create these uneasy feelings, sort of this discomfort, what it can get the audience to feel on a personal level, that tells a deeper story, especially about the individual. First time I see The Cremator without that knowledge, I see it more on this like macro level of just simply, okay, the Nazis come in and fascism can come into a society, and a guy simply just wanting power can be corrupted, and this sort of ease of corruption. And I didn't see it on the human level of this instinct can survive inside of all of us, and it can survive inside of people that you love and that you care about, and it can be susceptible. I didn't see it as this zombie story, this virus infection story that can like it doesn't just corrupt the person looking for power, it can legitimately just corrupt anybody, and it can convince them that they're better than somebody else for absolutely no reason. And I think without understanding that core individual, like that visceral element, because I would argue with you, I think this is a very visceral movie, even though it's not gore and maybe not like jump scare based. It's reaching itself deep inside of you, going, we all might be monsters. And maybe the some of us that aren't monsters, we're at the very least fucking surrounded by monsters. And I think that's what's cool about that movie because it was doing every and the final part and the reason I brought this whole thing up is I wanted to ask you, did you find the movie funny too?
Well, it's funny you say because as we're going throughout, I kept noticing that couple that would just kinda periodically pop up, and then I'm like, "This is really out of place," but then I think about it because then I think about horror comedy because 'cause I'm like,
Yep.
you know, if you don't have that, it would be so incredibly dour
Yeah.
that it would just be the most depressing thing you probably have ever watched, and I mean, another thing that I actually really liked about this film is I've always, since I've been very young, have never been able to rationalize the hatred of other races or people, and, like, through this film, you could see how that seed spreads and grows, and the best thing about it is, I mean, I'd like to think that you could just see just such a blatant absurdity to it too. I mean, and that's really the point that I got out of it, hopefully, and hopefully that's the right point that
Well, I mean, even remember like the conversation that the father's having with the son when he's like, oh, don't go hang out with that Jewish boy. He's too effeminate. Oh, go hang out with the boxer. Oh, he's tough. He's tough. He's tough. And then
I
it's
love the part whenever
well,
they find the picture.
he says, oh, he wants to be big and strong so he can
You can just punch him with a kisser.
hook him right kiss her. And he
Oh,
goes,
with a kisser.
no, no, no. I'll explain that to you later. And then he kills his son. But like,
Dude,
it's
that's
just
so fucked up. Like,
it's just like that's a moment where he should like if you're talking to that person in real life, and I've had this conversation, maybe not as absurd and maybe not as on the nose, and it luckily never led to that loved one killing me, and putting me in grim for it. But I've had that conversation before, and I'm sure you have, and hopefully some of our listeners, to
Unfortunately,
where
yes.
you're talking to somebody and they're telling you something that they're like staunch belief, you hang out with the blah, 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 and then they realize something and then they contradict themselves immediately and go, oh well, but not like this, but not like that, or oh, oh, love everyone, but make sure that you hate the gays for some reason, or love everyone, but
I've had several of these conversations, unfortunately.
and I think what that scene is really cool at showing is like that is a moment where his contradiction is so ridiculous that he should just be able to go, "Oh fuck, maybe I'm being duped." But instead he doubles down, throws the picture away, and then kills his son.
And then tries to make after the daughter. But that the most disturbing thing to me was like, "Yeah, we'll take care of it. You've got bigger things to
Yeah.
do. Like, you make these mass gas chambers."
And I think the final point, I think well, I want you to keep going on for I want you to keep talking about it because this is one of my favorite movies ever, just especially political wise. I think what's sweet about it is like he justified all of it, right? Like he justifies it through like Tibetan Buddhism, right? Like, and this isn't a knock on like Buddhism is an amazing philosophy, like this whole idea of like, but it shows this idea that you could have these people who will bend these really beautiful ideologies and these really beautiful, like, one of the biggest red flags with that character that you could even notice early on, besides him banging whores, was when he goes, um, suffering is akin to evil. What does that mean? What is suffering? So what we kill people, or we it's our duty to murder people if we think we're suffering? I'll talk about this through the lens of disability. That's unfortunately one of the justifications that Hitler and the Reich made when it came to why they wanted to kill people with disabilities was, well, they're suffering. They don't live normal lives. I mean, we just heard this recently from a public official where he went, they'll never be able to get married, they'll never be able to have kids, they'll never be able to feed themselves or work a job, or they'll never be able to go out in public. So well, unfortunately, the next parts of those sentences are, well, then that's why we have to get rid of them. And that was one of the major red flags that comes out of that character really, really early on, where you realized you could take these people justify their horrific actions. And sometimes they're even justified through these things to where you think, oh, well, that makes sense, or that's common sense, or yeah, that would be the Buddhist thing to do, or yeah, that would be the Christian thing to do. Um, but you have to look at the actions and you have to actually understand what our responsibility to humanity is to see through it. Because at the end of the day, that character and in real life, you have people who go, well, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing it to end suffering, or oh, I'm going to be this monk on the mountain, even though my decisions lead to, millions being burned alive in an oven somewhere. And I don't know. And I think that's to me one of the most profound parts of that movie is it even explored this idea that you have these people committing genocide, but they'll still look you in the eyes and say, well, I'm doing it for the right reasons.
That's actually, in all honesty, the scariest thing to me about this film, and the reason being is the parallels to today that people do. I've never seen, as long as I've been alive, people that take and use and contort and twist religion to such nefarious means, and then look at you and bat an eyelash to tell you how incredibly godly they are. Like, that's the scariest thing that you could possibly commit to film, and this again shows a very I can't even believe it, like, it's hard to sit back and watch. I mean, what's the old saying, like, "If you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it."
Yeah.
Here we are, motherfuckers. Enjoy. I mean, so,
Yeah. And unfortunately, history doesn't just rhyme, it swears.
yeah, no doubt. But I mean, yeah, man, great pick. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I honestly, I still think about a lot of the things that you've made me watch, and they still live rent free in my head. Come and see. But anyway, this I think might have knocked that off of the plateau in my brain, and I think it's probably going to be in there for a long time. But I mean, it for just reason. I mean, I couldn't even recommend a more important film for this day and age. So
For
yeah,
your spooky night and just for life in general.
yeah. I mean, if you want to be legitimately frightened,
Now,
Tran-
what movie did you give me? Because honestly, dude, we created one of the best double features that you could watch on Halloween if you would like.
you know, it's funny. Like I said, I wasn't sure how these were gonna gel together, and actually, real honestly, it's brilliant. I mean, I give you the Michael Dougherty anthology Trick or Treat, which and my, to me, that's one of my favorite actual. I love creep. I love creep show. I love anthologies. I'm always a sucker for anthologies. And that being said, this is in my top 5 anthologies of all time, and I'm curious to see what you think about it and see if you loved it and appreciate it as much as I do, because I really, really love this movie, and I've been chomping at the bit to see your thoughts. So,
Yo,
what did you think of Trick or Treat? Mm.
I hope you take this as a compliment and not an epithet. But dude, when I got done watching the movie, I was like, this is the Halloween version of Christmas Vacation. Like, this to me is the perfect fucking like Halloween movie that you could just sit down. You should sit down and watch every single year
I
with
do.
your family. It is so like it's funny as fuck. This is a really, 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 really funny movie. I love this movie a lot.
Oh, nice. I'm glad because I always tell people, and this is how I try to reel them in. I mean, because when I give you a recommendation, you actually trust me and watch it. But if I'm trying to reel people in, I feel it encapsulates the feeling of the holiday perfectly. Like you said, for Christmas Vacation, I do understand what you're saying too, and I agree. Like I feel it, everything that wants to get you in that mood, that spooky season, that feeling, it encapsulates. It does a perfect job of encapsulating Halloween.
And for some reason, I don't know if this is gonna make sense. It is the most 2007, 2008 movie I have ever watched. Like, I have never seen a movie just capture, like, the end of the 2000s, early mid-2000s, like, so well, from the way everyone talked to just, like, we're still kinda showing titties, but we're not really showing titties anymore. Look at this violence. Hey, look, Brian Cox playing a role that, like, why is he even there in that role? But he fucking crushes it. Like, it was a really, really cool movie. It had a little bit of everything. I can't remember the principal's name, like the actor's name. I feel like I've seen him in so many movies, but the funniest line of that fucking movie is when he walks up on that kid. Was that the kid from Bad Santa, by the way? I didn't even
Yeah.
I meant to look at that, but I keep
Yeah, you're talking about the dude from Happiness, right? Mm.
yeah. So when he walks up on that kid, yeah, and he just goes, "Charlie, that can't be good for your diabetes." Like, that's the funniest fucking line I have ever heard in a movie. Like, that's so goddamn stupid. Um,
I love that guy. I think he's fucking great. Mm.
no, it was cool. Like, it was and I think what was sweet about it, you were bringing up anthologies and Creepshow. I'm glad you gave this to me even when you did. Like, it made me appreciate, like, this was a different take on an anthology to where there was some connective tissue that sort of connects each story, but isn't quite connecting each story. Like, I enjoyed that the first couple was like pretty much represented in some capacity throughout the entire film, but it wasn't because it was going to change why they died or what happened. It
Yeah,
was
like
just
the whole universe is interconnected. Mm.
yeah, it's like, here's what time this is how you know what time this thing happened at. So I love that it was like it was an anthology, but it wasn't sort of this consistent timeline. It was like it was really violent, but then it was also like kind of like a children's movie at parts, but then it was also like, here's werewolf titties.
I personally like Mr. Krieg, and I think I was pretty. One of my favorite like twists is like you find out that he's the fucking bus driver that survived.
Oh, and that story was that was really fucked up. That was
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really
That's what's funny. It's such a beautiful film for being so fucked up.
That's what I mean, like, that's, like, it genuinely feels like it's almost like it was shot like a Hallmark Christmas movie, but on the inside of it, is so preposterous and fucked up and insane that, like, it sometimes tries to remember, "Oh, shit, we need to be able to be shown on Disney." But then it's like, "Wait a minute, I want you to also see somebody getting disemboweled, and yet again, here are werewolf titties."
Not only that, I mean, Sam's adorable too. In the spirit of Halloween. He's in this, which he's become kind of an icon now, man. That's that movie actually wasn't even ever supposed to come out. I was so mad because I was following the progress of it. I wanted to see it so bad. It got shelved for like 2 years. And then it finally got ported to video, and then it became such a humongous fucking cult hit, after so many years that now it's like a Christmas story every Halloween. People watch Trick or Treat every year. It's become a cultural phenomenon. Now it's fucking huge as shit. People are still waiting for the sequel. And he did another movie, a Christmas horror movie, Krampus, which people really dig. And
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one, but
if you like this, you should check out. And it's coincidentally, it's in the same universe as Trick or Treat, actually.
that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, Michael Doughertys,
I think what was really cool about this too is it was a movie that was so it at first you were like, is this a movie that believes in the supernatural or is gonna allow for the supernatural? Or is this a movie where it's just like a serial killer on the loose running around? And then it's like, no, there's even room for this like full supernatural gambit to where like even the serial killers aren't safe and they're at fucking risk of being. And I thought that was a really, really cool take on it and a cool way of telling sort of like these tropes that we're used to seeing and then doing in a way that was a little bit different.
I'm really glad you like this because like it's one of my favorites. I love watching.
And again, the father-son serial killer duo, if he was gonna make a like, I'm sad that that character was, you know, I guess raped and murdered by big-titted werewolves. But like which is a crazy thing to say out loud, but I would have loved to have seen an actual father-son, like, serial killer duo get explored. Like, I thought that was a really, really funny angle too, to where you're like, you're getting faked out and you're wondering, like, "Is this kid fucking stupid? Like, is he not asking questions and his dad's digging holes in the backyard?" And then it's like, "Oh, no, he's just a psychopath like his."
And it's funny because after you see it once, you're like, "Oh, everything makes sense now." Because when you upon the first viewing, I was like, "There's a lot of things." I'm like, "Huh? Oh, that's kind of weird." Or, "Huh? Oh, that doesn't kind of make." And then once you see it, you're like, "Oh man, it all fucking perfectly assembles like a jigsaw puzzle with sometimes backwards narrative, sometimes all over." But yeah, dude, it's a classic in my book. I love Trick or Treat, and I love everything about it. I love the fucking score. I love the animated opening. I love, all the character. I feel like that's an ensemble cast where everybody works really well.
It was very, very comic booky, which I thought was sweet. Like, it was literally
Like, I mean, I think honestly, I think it was kinda like his take on, like, the old EC comics and Tales from the Crypt and
yeah.
Creepshow and stuff like that, and just kinda like with a modernized spin. I think that's why it connects with people, but, yeah, dude, I'm thrilled that you liked it. I love it so much. Like, everybody's still waiting for 2, but he said he'll never do it unless he has something to do. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't wanna do it as a cash grab unless he has legitimate things that he thinks is gonna, be, and not only that, dude, from that movie alone, he went from, like, nobody to, like, a fucking, one of the most sought after directors in Hollywood, which is pretty. I love those kinda, like, stories, those little underdog stories, you know? Mm.
yeah. Well, it was I mean, it's a really, really cool one to watch if you, again, wanna know, "What can I do what could I do within, like, the confines of what I have?" And, like, it seems like a really big movie, but it's also not like a huge movie outside of like sort of those festival scenes where like there's a lot of these people. Like after that, it's very just like houses and the quarry and like it's not this big expansive like going through towns and all these different locations. Like it's just I don't know, it's a really cool, like, what can I do within the confines of what I have? Like, yeah, that's definitely a big budget movie or a relatively large budget movie, but compared to other shit, like, it's and every studio is gonna want somebody who can do stuff for cheap with big ideas, and I don't know, it was just a dope fucking movie. And again, just funny, just such a funny movie.
I
Like,
never get sick of watching it too, dude. It always makes me laugh. It always there's parts that still like whenever they pull the sheet in the beginning, I know it's happening. I've seen this movie 100 times and it still gives me that jump scare.
well, yeah, there was a little bit of everything. There was humor, there was jump scares, there was
I never think of Charlie Brown the same way now. If I ever think about Charlie Brown, I just think about what an asshole he is. It always makes me laugh.
Charlie Brown's an asshole.
You're right, dude. I didn't realize like and that movie is pretty funny. Like I didn't
Oh,
realize
it's
how
so fucking funny, like, and it's so fucked up. I mean, with the entire if, like, the main driving point saying that out loud, that's actually really funny that, like, this thing the driving narrative to the story is quite literally a guy driving a bus full of special needs kids off of a rock quarry and dying, like,
I don't know if you
that
caught this too. Mr. Krieg was supposed to look like John Carpenter. They gave Roddy Cox like prosthesis to make him look like early John Carpenter
oh, that's so fucked
just because
up.
he loves him so much. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, man, that's great. I'm so glad you dug Trick or Treat. And trust me, it gets better every time you watch it. It's one of those anthology movies. Like there's so much going on the first time, you almost don't really catch everything. Like you pick things out every time you watch it that you didn't see before. And I love that. I'm a sucker.
So here's what I'm curious about because I am excited to watch this over and over again. I sort of picked up on it in the beginning, but I'm curious if every single person who dies, do they die right after they break a rule of Halloween? Because I thought that was a really cool caveat of like,
I
if
feel like they do. Like,
yeah.
considering it's the spirit of Halloween, and I do feel like that if you go back and you check, I'm pretty sure that is the case. Mm.
Which is again really, really, really fucked up. But yeah, like even just the simple shit of like blowing out the pumpkins. Like that even became a thing multiple times throughout the story, like with the kids getting eaten alive by the zombie disabled kids. Like they're which again, crazy sentence to say out loud and have it not be derogatory. Like an actor, the zombie disabled kids, they were the heroes in this story and they finally got their comeuppance.
Yeah, I know, dude. I kinda love the fact like, I think it ends perfectly where they get their comeuppance, and you're just like, "Ooh." And then, I mean, that one dude that was in the vampire mask, the little kid,
Yeah.
he went on to become, like, a huge actor now. I just see him in everything. He was in the last Final Destination. He was in
Oh, that's sweet.
he's been in all kinds of movies now. Like, that's he was, like, 7 years old, I think, when that happened, and, like, even the kid that plays Sam, he's a grown adult now, and, he's like a he's getting, like, big money from all these horror conventions from a movie that when he played when he was 7 years old from, like, so many years ago.
That's just so awesome. I loved it. I really it's definitely gonna be a part of the Halloween
I have to
rotation.
say, man, I know I gave you the Blu-ray, but I actually the reason I did is because I upgraded because it's one of my favorites, and Arrow has the most definitive version of Trick or Treat you could possibly have on 4K, and it comes with all kinds of cool shit, dude. It comes with fucking a book about the production, it comes with posters, set cards, all kinds of fucking really cool shit, man. Not only that, I have 2 coffee table books about the production of Trick or Treat, and they're totally worth checking out too. They're some of my favorite books, and not only that, they have a comic book, like a graphic novel that is essentially Trick or Treat too, which is
Okay.
also really cool. And one that it goes in a lot of cool directions. Like, I hope he makes something different because I mean, I've already seen that. But if they just adapted this graphic novel they put out, like, as a companion piece to the movie, they do some cool shit. Like, they do one of the stories I thought was really cool is they do the origin of Halloween, but it's in the Old West, and I always thought that was kind of a really cool idea. So,
Oh,
like
yes. I mean, there is a way to take it into different time periods and outside of that modern.
yeah, so, like, I mean, even if he adapted that, I'd be cool with it, but, like, yeah, everyone has been clamoring for 2, and he's like, "I won't do it unless I could do it justice, and I have the time to do it," and we're still waiting, but we're gonna get it at some point, but, I'm just like I said, I'm just thrilled that you like it, so, man, what a fucking double feature we had, huh? Hmm.
Yeah. Highly, highly recommend watching these movies. We definitely recommend watching them in the order that we just talked about them. Do Cremator first and then end on a high note.
Yeah, then
That's
that's
what
funny that how did you describe Trick or Treat? That's gonna be the high note, the uplifting movie from the 2. That's just brilliant.
Oh,
But I mean, yeah, dude, I think we had a nice Halloween double feature. Feel like we did a pretty good job this show, like we always do.
give us a like and subscribe. But no, balls, you've either made me a better person or a worse person for the movies that I've watched.
Oh man, I've been hearing my whole life I corrupt people, so it's probably number two, but I'm okay with it. And I mean, real honestly, dude, you've made me a better person. Ugh, disgusting. But I have to admit that you have, and like I honestly, dude, I could do this to the end of time. I get such an immense joy out of us and our little experiment, and because you've turned me on to so much cool shit, and I'm flattered, and thrilled to death that you actually think anything that I recommended to you is even worth your time. So yeah.
We're gonna keep doing these forever, or at least until YouTube is shut down indefinitely. And send us to the audience. Send us themes. Send
Yeah,
us like
I would love that.
send us
Like,
theme ideas. Send us some themes, and we're gonna try and we can try and fit some stuff to those themes. Because themed episode, we accidentally will do themes like when we just give each other stuff, and we'll find ourselves like ass backwards into a cool theme. But, like, I like when we do the holiday special, so I wonder what our audience would like when it comes to weird themes and seeing if we could fill that void for you.
yeah, so you three people think about what you want us to do. You let us know, and we're fucking on it. We'll do it. Not a problem. So until next time, I am Balls from Ellwood. This is my buddy, Ride or Die, homie, family, true that, yo, Mr. Matt Wheels and ST. And we are the Movie Snobs, and we will see you next time. Music over.
Later.